Hey guys, what's going on? So I have another update on the Chevrolet Impala, more specifically on the wiring. So things have changed under here for sure. What I ended up doing actually really turned out pretty simple, but it is not complete yet. I still have quite a bit more wiring to do. One is bypass limp mode, which means I got to add a resistor in to the PCM wire. That's why this isn't loomed up or anything, because I'm going to have to splice into one of those wires. These fuel lines are going away, so you can pretty much ignore those. But I have to cut into one of those wires, if not two of them, because there's also limp mode on the transmission. I can't do anything about this possibly failing and going in limp mode. There's nothing really I can do there. Except bring another throttle body with me the day of, but I can't switch it obviously when I'm in the ring. But anyway, yeah, it cleaned up really well. The main battery cables are not ran yet, but this is all, you can push this all down. This is all going to be secured down, probably something like that right there. Pretty darn close to that setup. What allowed me to get everything over there, other than taking the main harness or main battery harness out, this is the main cables here, and I'm going to either have to extend this wire or have to connect it somewhere or whatever, because this is the some type of, I mean, I don't even really know what this is. I'd have to look it up. I don't know whether it detects ground or what it does, or gives ground. This is another ground. This goes on the body. This one goes to the fuse block, and that's where the positive is. So, and there's a amp. I believe it's actually like an amp clamp, almost. I think that's all that does, is detect amperage. Back here, and you can separate these two completely. So that's what I'm gonna end up doing, because this, all of this can sit up at the, essentially the firewall with the fuse block, and I'm going to extend this guy, sorry, not this guy, I'm going to extend this guy right here, that goes to the starter right now anyway, for now. I'm going to extend this guy using that red cable right there and bolt them up to here, clean this all up, bolt them up right here, and extend that to go to the starter. Now I may leave it that way, I don't know yet. But this one right here goes to the engine. This is your main engine ground, so this is a very important ground right here. Now, as for the fuse block, all that really had to change other than that is this harness right here. And this was kind of a bear, but it wasn't too bad. You just unbolt it from here. It's a connector that goes to the coil pack and the cam sensor and the engine coolant temp. And that harness comes out right here. And there's two separate, you can see, I can zoom down in, there's a separate little wire now going all the way up to the connector. And that is for the cam sensor. For whatever reason, GM, they had too much cable in this harness right here, so the cam sensor wiring went down, looped back, and down to the cam sensor, which I don't know why it did that. It did like this. Like, it was weird. It was stupid. Anyway, but I ended up taking all that tape apart, made it come out here, and had the harness for the cam sensor, instead of going down this side, now it goes down this side. It has plenty of slack, which is very important. Always try to keep plenty of slack in your wiring. Not too much slack, but you kind of have to have this medium ground in case, like, I can't tie this hard to the body and have this super close to this firewall here, or the cowl, because if this motor goes flying forward, like let's say it goes that to here, all that wiring might get ripped out, specifically this guy right here, because this guy can't come back any further. It can go forward, but it can't go any further backwards, which means that the motor can't go forwards if you tie it too tight. But anyway, that's just some more rambling for you. Got that in there. You see I did take the bottom off the fuse block, so I'm going to be taping that all up. obviously I cut all that out, and I'm going to be removing that door there, or opening it at the very least, and running a decent amount of my wiring, my fuel lines through there, as I always do on these W bodies. And I'll end up running those wires through there. Probably, I might have to cut this little bracket here, but I'm going to be running all that through there. Oh yeah, there is a hole right here. So maybe I'll just run it through this nice convenient hole right there, or through the back even, wherever it's not too tight, and have a nice way of getting to the only the one fuel line, because this is a returnless system, and that's an evap line, so that doesn't matter. And then the battery cables, where the battery cables may end up being right here, which would be kind of cool. But at the same time, you got to make sure they're very protected. I usually like having them not touching or being around metal, but as long as you get them really nice and insulated, it's not an issue. You have to have them insulated though, because if they start to short against anything, that would be, I mean, obviously very bad. Specifically the positive cable. The negative cable, you know, it's not nearly as important. So, and as you can see, I'm sure you noticed by now, all the window glass is out. And does this thing look different or what? I don't know why it changed it so much, but it did. It really feels like a derby car now. I cleaned up the inside just a bit since you guys last saw it. Really, the game plan hasn't changed. We're just going to be putting a cage in here, obviously with the tank floating in the air. Hopefully none of the places that I run end up giving me any trouble for that. The back here, I'm still not sure on this trunk. Really not sure on this trunk. I've really been bit in the past couple times with trunks. I might just put it on there, but I really want to make sure that my vision does not get blocked. That's the real bear in all this. It is a possibility that I might cut some of this trunk up, like cut a hole like right here, so I can see out the back of the trunk, if I can even see that far back in. I don't know. Anyway, in the back here, ignore that wiring. I think I might have already talked about how I was going to notch this trunk. I could be wrong on that, but like I said, I'm just going to be, if I didn't already, I'm just going to be lining it up about where this strut tower here. And that's going to be happening pretty soon. Once we get that, as soon as we get that fuel tank out, that's pretty much the next step, is going to be getting this thing notched, and the fuel tank's going to come out after the cage is in. We're basically ready to get the cage in. I just need to clean out the interior the rest of the way. All this wiring here, I'm not sure exactly where that's going to go. I might tuck it to the cage, like up to the back of the center console, which is going to stay in here. I'm just going to wrap a bunch of duct tape or something over that center console lid, because it's broken and stuff, so it's never going to hold up. So but that's going to stay in here. That's basically just going to keep me in my seat, so that way if I got hit in the side, I don't go flying out the seat, because that's never fun. So, and that center console's nice and soft, so I'd rather bounce into that versus trying to, you know, hold on to dear life. So yeah, this is going pretty well, I must admit, but for where I'm thinking this car might go, we're essentially out of time. So this car is not going to go where I want it to, and by out of time, I mean I'm just not going to have enough time to build this car for the place I kind of wanted to bring it, which was Lewis, and I'll tell you that now. Lewis, I kind of had in my plans to run this car there, and it just ain't going to happen. I have far too much going on right now. I got project, there's another car behind there, it's a project, that one's another project. The Element's not so much of a project as it is get rid of it, but it's just one thing after another, and that's not the other million things I have to do otherwise. But I do have some bumpers over here that I want to show you. Over here we got a couple of Ford Freestyle bumpers, but we do have a full-size bumper right there off of it, and somebody's gonna have to comment and let me know. 1981 Pontiac Bonneville, are they any good? I don't know. Let's take a walk around here and take a little bit of a look at it. I don't think it's going to be the strongest bumper in the world. I already know it's not going to be, but it doesn't look too awful terrible. It does have quite a V to it, which is nice. But here it is. It's just a chrome face and then a metal backing, or steel backing. So obviously better than an aluminum bumper. I do have to take these off, but they just, the bolts, or the nuts stripped, so, at the junkyard, so I just cut the crush boxes, not crush boxes, you know what these are called. I don't know why it's escaping me. I've been in the sun all day. Anyway, the only thing I really don't like about this bumper is basically how much metal is missing in the middle here. It makes me think it's going to collapse in the middle, but that's okay. I'm not that concerned about it because this bumper is just going to be basically, well, it's going to be better than my Ford Freestyle bumpers, I think. And it's not terribly rusty. I mean, it's a little rusty for sure, but it's not terribly rusty. We'll have to see how that theory holds up because there is quite a bit of rust to it, but it's not awful. But it's very nice and thick metal, not thin. So somebody's gonna have to let me know if you've ever derbied this kind of bumper before. Let me know how it did. I mean, I'm always curious. I just picked it up because I saw a chrome bumper and I saw it as steel backing, and I said, screw it, I'll get it. And even if it's not the greatest bumper, if it smushes in somewhat nicely and gives me more time for that frame to just slowly come in instead of it putting a lot of pressure on the frame rails, like what this car would be, I'm not going to run that Bonneville bumper on this car right here because that's a little bit too much, and I hate to say it, I think that's too much bumper for this car. Without any plates on the frame, that's too much bumper for this car. Now on a Regal, like a old Lumina or Regal, that's not too much bumper. I've ran harder bumpers than that, although it did bend the frame, but it also bent the bumper. It bent the living crap out of the bumper. I mean, that was an 80 something Lincoln, so that was definitely a stiffer bumper, and I can tell you right now, it bent the crap out of that bumper. So anyway, so it's coming along. I ended up snapping off the bolt on the motor here to go in this power steering line. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Hopefully me moving it around hasn't actually blown out the power steering. I know that how rusty these things get. They like to snap, or as soon as you start to move them, they start to leak. But fortunately, this one's been so oil soaked, as you guys can see. It's been so oil soaked that I think it'll be okay. I don't think it's going to leak. So hopefully, fingers crossed. If we lose power steering, we lose power steering. So I really don't like running without power steering, but if I have to, I will. Anyway, more rambling. It's coming along good. To secure that computer is gonna be real easy. All I'm gonna do is throw a piece of that wire like you guys seen me use in the past, like the little like 3/4 inch. I don't even know I think it's like plumber wire or something for plumbing. Anyway, I'm just going to take that. There's a bunch of holes in it, and I'll just self-tap it into the top of or in the bottom of the cowl there. And then I'm going to take zip ties and just zip tie right through these convenient holes through there and have a nice stiff mount. And not too stiff, but pretty stiff mount for the computer. Now, as far as computers go, you can have them pretty stiff. And TCMs, like that little guy right there, you can have them pretty stiff. But you don't want them too stiff because, like I said, if that motor decides to flop forward, which there's a decent possibility this one might, hopefully it doesn't, but there's a possibility that it might, that you don't want that computer being so stiff that it rips the wires out of it. You want that computer to rip off and come with it before that happens, because the odds of losing with a computer that's flopping around in there versus tearing the wires out of the computer, that's a huge difference. So if you don't have wires going to your computer, you're probably going to have a problem. So anyway, so it's coming along good. I don't know how many people have actually really built on these 3500s, but so far so good. There are some differences for sure. I would not say this is easy as a 3100, but it's close. It's definitely not as hard as a 3.1, like the one in the Regal, the 3.1 multi-port. That's definitely a pretty tough car to wire because you have to do a decent amount of custom work, as well as the 3800. But once you get them figured out, they're pretty easy. So, alrighty guys, stay tuned. More updates are coming for you. Hopefully, hopefully we can make it to the second derby I wanted to go to, which is coming up this month as well. So stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye, everybody.